Okay guys, today I'm going to be talking about 3 ways to find good public land to hunt. Now, there's a lot of ways you can find public land to hunt, but I'm basically going to tell you just off the experience of hunting public land for the last 3, 4, 5 years and tell you how I go about trying to find good land to hunt that I can have the best success. So, there's a lot of things that go into finding good public land. You want to find land that don't have, a lot of pressure or a lot of people, and, find the most activity that's going to give you the best chance. And so I get the question all the time on YouTube videos and on Instagram saying, hey, where'd you kill that? Or, what state were you in? And all this stuff, And of course, I'm not going to tell people where I'm hunting, because if I tell people where I'm hunting, it's probably not going to be good. And that goes for, if you go online and you look different places where people say, oh, this is a really good place to hunt and there's a lot of deer, it's probably not a good place anymore, because a lot of people look that stuff up and they find that, and then you got tons of people going to the same place to hunt. So that's really not good. But I'm just going to give you 3 tips. This is kind of what I try to tell people whenever they're looking for somewhere that they can go to hunt when they haven't been there before. They're looking for a good place that they can go on public land where they're trying to find a good place to go. So now, one of the number one things if you're going to find good public land is you need to have a lot of options. So I tell a lot of people when they ask, where do you think I should go? What should I do? And I always tell them one of the main things is have a place where it's either a massive area where there's tons of places to go, or a bunch of small spots, a bunch of small acreages, such as, a bunch of 100 acres, 200 acre areas that's all in short distance, 2 hours distance. So you always have options, because a lot of guys, they'll scout this one spot on the map and they'll decide that that's where they're gonna go and that's where they're gonna hunt and that's it. Then they go there and there's 47 cars in the parking lot, and then they're pretty much in trouble because they've not looked anywhere else. There's no other places close to hunt, and so they're stuck hunting this place that has too many hunters, way too many, or go to a place and there's just not that much deer activity. It doesn't seem like there's much deer movement on that place, and then they're in trouble because they didn't have very many options. So wherever you decide to say, well, I'm going to go to this state and hunt, or I'm going to go to this state and hunt, or I'm going to go to this area and hunt. Try to find 3 or 4 different properties or 3 or 4 different public lands that you can hunt. So then you have a lot of options open. So if you go to one and it's not panning out and it's not doing good, you can always go to another area. Always do that when you're getting ready to head to public land. If you haven't scouted areas before, you definitely want to go areas where you have a lot of different options. Number 2 thing, if you want to find a good public area, is don't stay in one place too long. So many people do this, and one of the reasons this matters to me is because I have even done this before. I've done it several different times, and what it is I get to a spot and I feel like, oh, I can make this spot work, I can make this spot work, and it's just really tough hunting, really difficult. And what I should have done was, just after the first day of not doing any good, after of not seeing anything, I should have just moved on. And that's one of the things this year when I went to Oklahoma and I was deer hunting, that's one of the things that killed me. What I did was, early in the season, we had scouted and I found a place that was really good. Well, I felt like was really good. Then I went back several months later and went in there and hung my stand because I already knew that place was a good place. But by the time I got back in there, I don't know if people had been hunting in there or whatever. The deer were not in there. And I hunted that evening. I saw like 2 deer, and it was not good. And I decided, I was like, well, I know this is a good spot. I think I can kill one in here. I know, because there was some sign in there, it didn't look too fresh, but it looked like there was sign there. Hunted there the next morning, did not see a single deer. And so I was only there for like 3 days or 4 days. So the first evening and morning hunt, I pretty much was just a waste. It was just a waste of time, and I should have just moved on from there. But instead, I stuck around too long. So if you're gonna find good public land, don't stay in one spot too long. Don't just hang out in one spot unless you obviously know or have seen some nice bucks in there. Then you'll know, that you have a chance. But if there's way too many people, or you're just not seeing deer, don't stay too long. Move somewhere else. That's how you're gonna find good land, is being mobile and making sure that you don't stay in one place too long. The third tip I have for finding good public land is go when it's not season. This is a great way to find a lot of areas and get familiar with spots, is go when it's not season. Now, we all know, of course, if you want to find land, one of your best options is to look on maps. We use Onyx maps all the time to find land and to look at new spots, and that's great, but it doesn't do it justice of actually walking on the land and getting a feel for how it lays, and then also finding historical sign or old rubs, old scrapes, old areas where you've seen deer. And even in early season when you're bumping deer out of there, that is going to help you a lot. Even if you go back in season and it don't seem like there's very much sign in there, at least you know that area. Because if you do go in that spot and you find an area where you think deer are, you don't have to go walking all over it and scouting it for the first time, because you have already been there. And so it makes it really good. If you're going to find good public land, go any chance that you get, just drive to an area and go look around and try to find sign and try to find areas where deer are. Because I'm telling you, on public land, if you're gonna be consistent killing deer on public land, you're gonna have to put in the work, because there'll be years where one piece will be really good and one area will be really good, and then the next area won't be good. One time there'll be tons of people, other times there won't be any people. And so it's good to have all these extra spots checked. So like every single year when we go hunting, there's places that we go over and over and over because they seem to always be good. But then every year we always are checking new spots. In the middle of the day, in the hot part of the day, we're always going to new places and checking new spots. And while we're doing that, it's great because it gives you more and more information. You can find more and more areas and learn more and more spots that you can go. So really the key is to finding good public land, you just need to go. Keep your options open. Don't stay too long in one spot, and just be mobile. And that is how you can find some really good public land to hunt, and that's how you can be successful, I think, in killing a big buck.